be less than that man, cause I ain't graded. Knowing I got my own problem to solve. Wishing I can hit the dog with the blast from a revolver. But like a lie, I stand tall. If you swing or you bust, I'm on guard. I pray up to the stars. Please, Father, forgive us for what we are.
What it do? It's 903 Boxing. I'm your host, Charles Jack. Say, man, had to do it. Guess this gonna be Texas Prisons Part 5. The Crips sacrificed their own homie for the pack. And if you don't know what the pack is, you finna find out real soon. Listen, gotta be honest, I'm finna get into some boxing shit, and I'm gonna get to the prison shit. Just you gotta bear with me, because I gotta tell you what made me do this video. I pondered over this shit. I said, yeah, let me go and do a part 5. Let me go and talk about this story here. Because for one, I just gotta let a lot of you motherfuckers know. I'm not, well, I was finna say I'm not here to, yeah, I do. I think I'm very entertaining. Yeah, I am here to entertain you, but I'm also here to, give life stories and life lessons so that it'll help somebody. That's the overall goal. But yeah, it's entertainment within the story. But what I'm not finna do, I'm not trying to make prison look so glamorous as to tell a whole bunch of messy ass stories. It's a method to the madness. I'm not trying to tell the toughest stories I've seen, and I'm not trying to make up some stories. This shit, all these are true stories, and it ain't to uplift prison. It's really my goal with these prison stories is to expose a lot of shit, expose the corruption in prison, and also how the streets in prison is almost one and the same, and the same shit that go on in the streets go on in prison, and just the politics and just the corruption and all that there, and all this so-called gangster shit. I just want to break all this gangster shit down. I want to break down a lot of shit. So, but yeah, let me tell you what inspired me to talk about it. Had to get out boxing because I see a lot of fake shit, and I hope a lot of you boxing motherfuckers listen to this too. Because I understand I got people that listen to me when I do the rapper videos and they look for shit like that. And some of my followers don't listen to boxing as much. I understand that there. But it's some shit going on. Evidently we got a rat in boxing, By the way, shout out to YSM Media for covering that. Shout out to Greg Hackett. And shout out to Marlo for pointing that out. He about the only channel I seen talk about this. And I was gonna make a video about it, but I said, you know what? Not trying to go back and forth with old Nestor. And I don't want Nestor to think that I'm trying to build my channel off him or none of that there. So I wasn't even gonna make it. But listen, a lot of you motherfuckers in boxing act like you street. Yeah, most of you motherfuckers act street. And most black men, because I'm not talking to the women and that, but most black men, y'all think y'all street orientated and shit, and y'all follow street principles and shit. A lot of you motherfuckers, married and all, got kids and all, you still think street and shit like that. So I just know I've seen lesser shit. I've seen y'all band together over lesser shit. When Blue Blood went with BLK Prime and they signed Crawford to the Abdonesia fight, I seen a lot of channels go against Blue Blood. What's that boy, manager Marty? Yeah, that motherfucker started a whole campaign against Blue Blood and called him a fraud, and he fucked up the Spence Crawford fight. Man, it was a slaughter on Blue Blood. And listen, I don't know if Blue Blood is innocent or guilty. I'm not here to bash the man. I'm not here to say he done a motherfucking thing. But I'm just saying, it was like 30 channels going off on him every day. I saw it. So, and that was some lesser shit. He ain't snitch on nobody. He ain't write no paperwork and tell on a motherfucker all the way out there in New Jersey. Yeah, you wrote that state. We saw the paperwork, pimpin'. And that go to next. We saw the paperwork, bro. You were, and not only did you snitch, bro, you were informant. That mean like you eat donuts with them and shit, and you drink coffee and y'all go over plans together and shit. Now it wasn't no shit where you just got busted and you just wrote no, you informant. That mean you were wires and shit, and you snitched on that dude out there, and then you moved to Vegas and you done got your name hot. You got your boxing channel booming. You talk with all the fighters. You talk with one of my favorite fighters, which is Devin Haney. I don't know if Bill Haney know about this, and you know, I just don't know. Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. You motherfuckers can say that was in the past and that ain't about boxing. No, bro. I just know if it had been any black content creator that had paperwork about being an informant, you motherfuckers would ban him. You motherfuckers would unsubscribe from him and all that. And the reason why I'm bringing this up about old Ness and the show, The Boxing Voice, you got a whole lot of black people that fuck with you. Like, that show is 80% black people fuck with him and super chat him and all that stuff. I done listened to his show a couple times. Most of them people that call in are black. Black people fuck with Ness. Heavy, and it be a lot of street dudes on the automobile, be talking all that shit and all that mumbo jumbo shit and all that baboon talk. Listen, all you street motherfuckers that be on his channel, bro, are you cool with him being an informant? So this is why I made this Texas Prisons Part 5. The Crips sacrifice their own homie for the pack. Listen. And I'm saying, and I'm finna get off net because this ain't about him, but I'm just showing you the fakeness in boxing. This dude an informant. And you making money in boxing? And listen, man, yeah, he got them feds with him. You know, them motherfuckers might be tapped into my shit right now. Yeah, when you say Nesta, I think them motherfuckers just pick up on your channel and all kind of shit. And bug your phone and shit, all kind of shit. But anyway, yeah, Nesta is an informant. And you know another thing I gotta say about your old Nesta, you know, I be hearing you when you do them calling and you talk real street and you always make a reference like I'm a real street dude straight out of New Jersey. Like you really that. You talk that shit like you really a thorough ass street dude out of New Jersey, bro. But you an informant, bro. And like I said, if it was any other black content creator. Listen, it could be a black content creator if you had 4 subscribers. Your ass would get famous that night if motherfuckers found out you was an informant. So, but I know you baboons still gonna stay subscribed and you still gonna fuck with old Nestor. But I just had to point it out. And I just had to let it be known that, listen, I no longer live a street life, but I do not support informants. I don't support no testifying. I don't support nobody that calls the police. So I just want to make that shit very clear. But anyway, I'm going to leave you alone, Nestor. Back to Texas Prisons. Listen, the Crips sacrificed their own homie for a pack, and I'm going to tell you how it happened. Okay, this the same unit where my own homie, matter of fact, this the same unit where my own homie set me up to fight for him. This the same unit where I got violated by the Bloods and my own homie set me up. Yeah, a lot of fucked up shit happened to me on this unit. And the whole moral and principle of this video, I'm finna teach you the power of money and how it will make gangsters act like bitches. Our money makes gangsters act like bitches, and that's in the streets or in prison. So we're gonna break this shit down. Okay. So I had a celly, you know, I had 2 cellies, and both of them was Bloods, and they was on. They was on. And I was smoking weed every day because by that time I had got a 2-year set off. 2-year set off because that means when you see parole, you can get a year set off. It can go all the way up to 5-year set off. So that means 2 years before you see parole again. And keep in mind, I was 19 at the time. My lawyer told me that on an 8-year sentence, you won't do but about a year and a half at the most. And I had already pulled about a year. So I was expecting to go home. When that motherfucker told me 2 years, I added that shit up. I said, by the time I see parole again, it'll be 3 goddamn years. I said, I'm gonna be in this bitch at least 3 years. So by that time I had got into a little more fights and shit. I was more aggravated. And at this point, I just took all that anger and frustration. I just wanted to use that to be a down ass blood and prove that I was down and shit like that. So like at that point I was in an angry mode. I was very angry after that 2 year set off. So I became an angry person, and I got into more fights and got into more shit. But anyway, so I done got a 2 year set off. So I'm smoking weed every day, every single day. And and I'm smoking the shit out them cigarettes, and they got them. You know, Lil Boo got the squares, he got the weed, and that motherfucker had XOs. That motherfucker, because on weekends, I'm gonna get to the story, but I'm being reminded of shit as I'm talking. Listen, we had the best shit we had was on weekends. We could see rap videos. Yeah, we could see rap videos. I don't remember what the shit was called. And he would come from visitation, and he would pop an X pill every Saturday night when the videos would come on and shit. And that motherfucker would be rolling in prison. Yeah, and keep in mind, I had only been in prison not even a year at the time. So this is all very new to me. I said, this motherfucker on X pills like he in the goddamn club. Anyway, fast forward. So Lil Boo got the shit going, and Bloods kind of run this unit, and Crips doing their thing. So let's get to Bobo. What's his name? His name was Bobo. And he had a missing tooth in the front. He was very dark. And he stuttered. He stuttered real bad. And he was a Hoover. And yeah, the Crips fucked with him. But one thing about prison I learned real quick, when you ain't got the pack, or if you ain't got, busting big 85s and shit like that, or got people that's sending you cash and, getting cash money from the guards or some shit like that. If you ain't got nothing in motion, bro, you really ain't. Motherfuckers really don't. They ain't really, because he didn't really make stove. He didn't really have shit going for him. But he could hoop. Yeah, I used to hoop with him. He could hoop like a motherfucker. Yeah, Bobo could hoop like a motherfucker. And he was bow-legged and shit. That motherfucker, matter of fact, that motherfucker wasn't bow-legged. That motherfucker was pigeon-toed. But he stuttered real bad. But guess what, though? Bobo could fight. And not only could he fight, Bobo didn't take no shit. And he was really down for his homies. That motherfucker was down with that Crip shit. He was down. And Bloods respected him, Crips respected him. Nobody tried him. And I've seen him check many of motherfuckers on that court. So, and one thing about that court, your ass, you got to be damn near ready for a confrontation if you're going to hoop. So, yeah, fights happen pretty regularly on the court. So, I had seen Bobo several times. Like, I ain't never seen him back down. So, I knew he was pretty sturdy. I knew he wasn't no bitch. He wasn't no hoe, and his homies knew it. That was a guard. I don't remember this motherfucker name, but this motherfucker was like 330. This motherfucker was over 300 pounds, well over 300 pounds, and wasn't but about 5'8". This motherfucker was short and fat. That motherfucker had a big old belly, but was cool than a bitch. Cool than a motherfucker, but he was gay. And motherfucker had a thick ass. That motherfucker had a Steve Harvey mustache. Yeah, I'm talking about Kings of Comedy Steve Harvey. He had one of them mustaches. Motherfucker was cool as shit though. Everybody fucked with him. And yeah, he was known for bringing in the packs. He was, and I'm gonna get to what I later found out. So anyway, he bringing in the packs and shit like that. So keep in mind, matter of fact, let me say this first before I get to how I found out and all that stuff. Because I'm finna end this motherfucker. I ain't finna talk to you motherfuckers all day. Listen, I gotta explain something about prison and guards. It's a thin goddamn line between love and hate. It's a thin line between love and hate. Listen, it's a thin goddamn line between fucking with them laws. Because the guards are just like the police in the street. They are there to keep you confined and keep you incarcerated and police your ass. That's their job. And a lot of times we forget that shit because, like I said, money is the root of all evil. And so a lot of times dudes think it's so player to have a guard in your pocket. A lot of times it ain't, bro. I've seen motherfuckers who got a female guard in their pocket and he got her policing and shit. Got her policing and writing dudes up every chance and just got her policing. I done seen dudes get with guards and really you using this guard to shut down other dudes' operation and shit so you can be the main supply. Yeah, like dudes do in the streets, how they get with the law and they tell it on the dude across town, and now the dude across town that got busted, now he got all the dope and he getting more customers. Yeah, that's what you lame ass dudes doing. So dudes will get with a guard to police and bust open the investigations and shit. It ain't always some player shit. But anyway, by the way, my silly little boo, that motherfucker had like 2 or 3 guards. He had like 2. I watched the female walk up and hand that motherfucker $100 bill. Cause he was a bragging motherfucker, little boo, and he was from Eastwood, Fort Worth, Texas. But anyway, that motherfucker, he'll tell you all his business. Matter of fact, this is the only motherfucker on the history of the unit. He fucked the guard in front of everybody in the salad port. And if you don't know what the salad port is, that's when you go out your dorm, it's the space in between the dorms and going down the hallway. So when you in the salad port, you can see each dorm. Yeah, he smashed the guard in the salad port, but that's a whole nother story. And so he tell all his business. But anyway, like I said, he had a lot of shit in motion, but he just talked too much and it got his name hot eventually. So, yeah, I've seen dudes do player shit with getting guards. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some I seen a dude get a motherfucking, it was this police ass Mexican chick. This motherfucker she was a midget. And she was, that motherfucker was built like a loaf of bread. But anyway, she seemed racist as fuck. And I later found out she was fucking this black dude that was in the back and shit. She was fucking him the whole time, dropping him off the pack, but she seemed so fucking racist. And I always was very impressed by it. I said, that motherfucker pulled the most Mexican chick that I never thought would choose a black. And on this unit, it was mostly Mexicans too, so that was harder to do. So anyway, that was some player shit I seen. But anyway, the point I'm making is it ain't always player when you get a guard on your team. And so I'm finna explain that shit. So we end up going on lockdown. And the gay dude got busted. I don't remember his name, but he got busted with a lot of weed and a whole lot of tobacco. And so when he got busted, little boo, my cellar, we on lockdown. These motherfuckers smoking weed on lockdown. But anyway, we smoking, and so he was like, say, bro, don't, because everybody didn't know this. So what I'm saying, all the Crips didn't know that this was going on, but certain Crips had this shit in motion. It was like some low-key shit, but it was going on. Certain Crips allowed this shit. He was like, say, bro, don't tell nobody, but, you know, Bobo, the Crips had Bobo fucking with the guard. That's how they were getting the packs in. I was like, what? Yeah, bro, Bobo was fucking with the pump. And the whole time, listen, check this out. Bobo, I don't never see him with no commissary and that, but I see him always smoking weed and shit with his homies. But I'm thinking his homies just letting them smoke and shit like that. They not really giving him no commissary and shit like that. But he just want to hit some weed and smoke cigarettes and shit. So they using his habits to get the guard, and he dropping them off big packs, and they got big commissary and big weed and shit like that, and they using him as a dummy because he was slow. And that's why I use that Crip Mac photo, because Crip Mac, he's so loyal as a Crip, he would probably do some shit just to be down. So anyway, yeah, but the gay guard, he was dropping off for a lot of people, but that was one of his licks too. Yeah, he was giving the Crips pack for fucking with they homie. And so yeah, Lil Boo told me about that shit, and I was just like, man, for that money, bro, it's a lot of shit that go on. It's a lot of dirty shit that go on. So a lot of motherfuckers try to brag and make it look like they prison is so infamous and it's so this and it's so that, but it's a lot of snake shit going on. So yeah, I seen a lot of motherfuckers that fuck with guards and really was a law too. So yeah, this is Texas Prison Part 5, and yeah, they sacrificed their homie for the motherfucking pay. This is 903 Box, and I am your host, Charles J. With that, I'm out.